What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Super Beamer Brothers. My name is Fabio. My brother Diego is under the E34 right now. Say hi.
What's up, guys?
So he's actually working on the E34. We've been working on a video that is basically just rebuilding the valve train and dropping the head back in on that car because it overheated and I believe it breached just the head gasket. The head didn't actually crack. So getting rebuilt, we'll have the video up soon if it's not already out. Check through the videos if you haven't already. But today, what we're doing is we're working on the E30. I'll show you what it looks like right now. And if you haven't already seen it, go back. Again, go back in a couple videos or so, you'll probably see it. This is the gray one we've been working on. And today, we're doing a 5 lug swap for the rear, actually. So we're gonna bring that right out and I'll show you what we're actually working with. There's a couple ways to go about this, but the main 2 ways is using a 318 Ti rear end or using Z3 hubs and a mixture of E36 components, which works too, from what I understand, but this is the first time I've actually done anything like this. The approach that I went with is actually the 318 Ti rear end, and it seems to be the easiest for me anyway because I was able to pull that rear end out of a car like complete. So this is the subframe and trailing arms that we'll be using. The main reason why I actually went with the complete Ti setup is because on the 86, this is actually not a 325i, it's a 325e. And for you guys that are actually really new to the BMW world, let alone the E30 world, on the E, they were drum brakes in the rear. And with that, anyway, so what we gotta do is take the old rear end out and then get this one in. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. For whatever reason, I thought these were drum brakes, but they're disc brakes, so this is great. I'm still swapping out the rear end. Just a side note, I was completely wrong, and I apologize. A lot of them were, though, from what I understand. The E's. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. Just don't burn me. Forgive me, please. So let's keep it going. As you can see, not easy, but it actually is a lot easier when you have this tool here. This tool here actually comes included in a Harbor Freight puller kit. Look for this one. This will save you a ton of time. I mean, I might have cut it quite a bit, but it took me 30 to 45 minutes to get that off, and it was fully seized on there. PB blaster, a little bit of heat, and you hammer the end of this with a socket on there so you don't destroy it, and then you slowly just inch it out because all that rust is built up in the hub. Inch it out and it finally will come out. So it's the next day. We didn't get to remove the rear end, but we did get to basically take everything apart that is having to do with removing it. So at this point, I'm just gonna double check to make sure nothing else is connected to the subframe and the arms, and we're just gonna drop it. Again, I say things like if it's gonna take me 5 minutes, but it's gonna take a few minutes to do this. It shouldn't be terribly difficult, but I mean, let's see how far we can get before we break something. So quick tip, you want to figure out how to stop the half shaft from spinning. See this bolt? It's probably about 1.5 inches. You wedge it there to stop it from spinning, right? Because this is always a pain in the butt. Stop it from spinning, that way you can kind of fit your wrench right here. And I just give it a few taps. It might fall, it's not it's not very much of a tool, it's just kind of a hack to get it to stop spinning. You know, because it's kind of always pretty annoying to deal with this. And there. That way you can take your nuts off without having to deal with the shaft spinning like crazy. Alright, it's the next day. We got the subframe out, which is great news. It's typically kind of a pain in the butt to actually get out, especially on cars that have had plenty of miles between subframe bushing service, but in this case, only one of them seized up and broke off on the inside. Let me show you what that's like, because it's kind of hard to explain, but it's not the end of the world. So if you see here, I got some of the material out already. The subframe insert is actually made out of like some sort of aluminum. It's soft, so it's actually able to break, but because it's aluminum and this little insert on the chassis is steel, it starts to basically just weld together and rust. And because of that, this happens. It breaks off on the inside, and it's just a pain in the butt to, you know, get the rest of this material out so the new bushing can sit in place. Got some minimal, I scraped this outer edge a little bit with the bit, but it's okay. I didn't just kind of scratch, but I got all of the material out of there. You can see that it's all gone now. Marred it up a little bit, but I mean, a small price to pay to get all the old bushing material out, which is perfect. So, good little hack. I mean, if you're willing to sacrifice a step drill bit, it's a 1-inch bore that this is. 1-inch bore, so just cut the 1 inch at the 1 inch mark, and just kind of get rid of the next little step up, and you got yourself a little step bore, I guess you can call it. And it'll clean it right out if you have the same problem. I mean, just know that you will mar up a little bit, but I mean, for me, this is a small price to pay to get all of the material out. Now I'll just go ahead and do some anti-seize to make sure that it doesn't seize up again, like this. I'm sure that I will be servicing the subframe bushings a lot sooner than the prior owner did, so I don't think I'll be running into this anytime soon, or probably ever again on this car.